Hi guys, it's Kadeisha Placide, and I am the founder of the Women in Power Collective, and we are back with another Salon Talks series where we uncover, we dive in, and we just let our hair loose and just have girl talk. So happy Women's Health Month, as well as Mental Health Awareness Month. So if you guys don't know, May is all about mental health and just tending overall to our wellness, and that's what we are all about. So I have another amazing guest, another amazing co-star with me, and she is dynamic, she's brilliant, she is a girl's girl and my girl. So I'm gonna let her introduce herself.
Hey guys, I am Sandy Pierre, Sands P on Instagram, however you want to go by, and I'm excited to be here. Happy Women's Health Month, happy Mental Health Awareness Month, like all the things, because child, life be lifing. So we need our community and friends and conversations like this to help us get through those days. So I'm excited to have a fun conversation.
Yes. So diving right in. How are you? How are you mentally?
Where do I look? You? Okay. How am I mentally?
Yes. How are you conquering?
So I'm happy. In my personal life, I am happy.
I love that.
Professional life, I feel like we could be a little better. Like things are ever changing. If you work in the media space or if you work in any space, any workspace, just being an entrepreneur, being a creative, being a 9-to-5er, that things are ever changing. It's like so hard to get a job, like turnovers. So there's that. There's the anxiety of like, am I gonna be okay? You know what I mean? It's my job, like job, like security. But me and the Lord, we besties, and I talk to Him all the time, and like worry for nothing. So I'm good. Awesome. I'm good. Taking it day by day.
I love that. Yes. So, girl, I will definitely say just like talking about mental health. First of all, it's something I'm very passionate about, right? Yeah. So I also have a psychology background, so that's what I took up in that's what I took up in college, and it was just like so fascinating, like just learning more about the human experience, and also more just about how I think, my own experiences, and like why do I feel these type of ways, and like okay, my childhood then affects like how I am today. So mental health has always been important for me, but I would definitely say like 2025 is definitely a trying year for faith, for my mental, So I'm constantly like just taking time out to just like practice mindfulness techniques, and just try to be present and be where my feet are. So that has just been something that's been like my saving grace. I have to be very intentional about it though, or else I'm burned out.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Yeah. So what are some like things that you do to like tend to your self-care and your wellness?
I would say, so in the past, I want to say 2 years, I've been on like a spiritual journey where I'm just like trying to get closer to God. I'm attending church every Sunday. I'm opening my Bible. Like I literally pray every time I'm about to do something. And like, I almost look at myself like, who are you? Like, don't get me wrong. Like I've always like believed in God, and have faith, but like having that real relationship is a real thing, and really getting into the word and knowing that, He's got you no matter what. And like those moments where I feel alone, I literally just like stop and pray. I'm like, God, just like help me through this, get me through this. So best practices for me are really just, having that time, that alone time with God, and having my community be there, and like leaning on them, and just like, having a special person in your life that like also helps you with that, because like work can just be so draining.
You can't like be who you are. You can't just like let work consume you, like it's not who we are, it's not our identities. And sometimes we get very much so lost in work mode where we kind of like forget about other things, or we're just not tending to other things. So we just have to be
especially in the space that like we work in, and like whether it's beauty, creative, like sometimes you can't turn it off. Like your professional life becomes like your personal life. So being able to have friends that keep you grounded, like even going to like tomorrow, in 2 days I'm going to my godson's like birthday party. I'm like,
I love those
moments
things,
like that, you know what I mean? I'm like this is what it's all about. What's that trend? This is the whole point.
We're just like I'm like talking about that, like just meeting up with like childhood friends, or people that are very close to you, people that know you and just like give you grace and understand you. So Like that
Super
community,
important.
that community component, girl.
It's so important.
It keeps me sane, and it
Yeah.
also just keeps me like very present as well.
Exactly.
So, when did you know? Like, give me a moment of when you're like, oh my god, I knew that sisterhood or community was something that it pours into me. You know, like what is a moment that you can identify that you knew that it was just important and you needed that in your life?
I would say probably about the pandemic makes it feel like I don't even know what
Girl, we
year
don't
it
even know,
is.
right? We lost
Probably
so
like
many times.
2018. What was that? Like 6 years ago or something like that.
2018 was 7 years ago.
7 years ago.
Yeah,
Child.
we opened up the salon in 2018. It was
Yeah.
7 years ago. Crazy.
I was working at Hearst Magazines and I was the only Black person on my floor. And you know, being at if you're not familiar, Hearst Magazine is like the powerhouse and umbrella of like Harper's Bazaar, Cosmo, like all those like amazing magazines that we love, that we see our favorites on the covers, but like in the space, like it didn't represent who we were.
Right.
So I've heard of like ERG groups. I'm like, you know, like it's a safe space where people just like come together. And I'm just like, I asked HR, I was like, does this exist here? And they were like, no. And I was like, well, can I start one? And they were like, sure, but you have to like gather some people. And I'm just like, I don't even know anyone that like works here. Like, it's such a big building. You would see other people that look like you, and you know, like Black people, they have that like the head nod. Oh hey,
the silent like,
I see you, but you know, we don't work on the same floor and none of that. So I really had to, you know what I mean, I randomly found like a friend that used to work at one of my old companies in the cafeteria. And I was like, hey, do you want to start this group with me? They were like, yeah, sure. And then it went from me talking, I was like even talking to my everyday friends, like saying, hey, should I start this thing? They knew that I was like burnt out, or like they knew that, you know, I really didn't see myself there. I felt so small in the space that was so big. And they were just like championing. It was like, no, do it. And then when I finally started it, and it was a community that like has grown. So like it was a group that was maybe started as 20 people now to like they're hosting like summits with Tracy Ellis Ross and like doing all of that.
Oh my
so
gosh.
like that.
But you saw a need for something.
I saw a need
and
for
you wanted
it.
to fulfill it, and you made it happen.
Yeah, and I couldn't do it alone. I couldn't do it
Wow.
alone. So I had my friends that didn't even work in that space that were like giving me ideas and like saying like, Sandy, I saw you have this idea and like you actually like made it happen. And like the people within the company became not only coworkers, they became friends. Like,
wow. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. And it's always a token, like when you come out of like any work environment and you have like friends, like everlasting like friendships and stuff, and tight knit community. So you definitely got something out of that last position for sure. And you started something amazing.
And it's like still going on strong. So that's when I knew I was like, we can't do anything alone. Like, grab your sisters, grab your brothers. We here for the fellas too. We love y'all too.
We are here for the fellas.
Grab just like that word community is just like so important.
So from where you were with your last position, like what was the journey like to where you are now and like what you're doing now?
I would say like even starting that, because I've graduated with a media communications degree, so I always knew I wanted to be in like entertainment and the media space. But like I said, I was the only person, but then starting that ERG group, I found like my purpose. I was like, no, I wanted to work with people that look like me, and I wanted to do more of a purpose-driven work, where it's like I'm working with brands, and now in my role at Refinery 29 Unbothered, I specifically lead brand partnerships where I'm putting the dollar back in our community. So I'm working specifically with Black creators, Black entrepreneurs, like Black professionals, and working with brands like a Amazon, like a but like, you know, like like big brands like that, that are looking for, you know, people that are actually out here doing the work. You don't have to have 1 million followers. And I'm always like scoping out like who's the talent. Like I'm like my friends, like who do I know like that I could put on? You know what I mean? Because like that space has just been so closed off to us. So now I'm in a space where I can be in these rooms and talk to these execs, talk to these brands, and tell them like, no, these are the people, and we need to get them paid too.
And you put us on the forefront, women of color.
Yeah, women of color.
So what's the difference between like, because I know you said refinery, and then Unbothered. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So Unbothered is a sub brand of Refinery 29. So Refinery 29 is a digital women's-led magazine, digital magazine where it's storytelling through the lens of a woman, and Bobby specifically is through the lens of Black women or like Black identifying.
That's powerful.
Women. Yeah,
it's powerful,
yeah.
especially in the media space. As you said, you see a lot of like non-people of color, especially males,
Yes.
dominating a lot of different media outlets, and then of course corporate and big companies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So the fact that you guys can have representation for us, like, is so powerful.
Yeah, girl. I was like, and I love it because I was a fan of the brand before I got there.
Yeah, it's very lifestyle and it's very relatable. Yeah,
it's very. I'm like, I wish this on like everyone, because like we be on Zoom calls with our bonnet. I'm like, that's mental health right there. Like anytime, like I could cough and my boss is like, take the day off. I'm like, you need that like
you do.
space. You know what I mean? Because we're humans. We're not robots. Like we're not here to just like check in and like check out, you know what I mean? Like that's what I said.
You
like,
have community at work.
Exactly.
You have community at work, and like you said, like you don't have to code switch. Like you're showing up as you are.
That for years.
That's exhausting, and that leads to your burnout as well.
I'm bothered. Like we talk about all of that. We talk about mental health. We talk about like even Black maternal health, which is like just passed last month. We talk about relationships. We talk about like love. We talk about, listen, if you're 420 friendly too, like we don't shy away from anything. Like Black
you having the
women
conversations.
Yeah, we have all the conversations, and we call ourselves unbothered because we're unapologetic, but a lot of times you see we are bothered. A lot of people do bother us, but we still gonna be like, listen, it's our way, and no man, no anyone can tell us anything.
But the tone is unbothered. And the tone is, I said what I said, so that's so powerful. And that's who we are as a Black woman, that's definitely who we are. So I think it's great that you get to wake up and work with brands and people that look just like us, especially if you came from a background that didn't. And as we said, sometimes that can add to your burnout overall if you have to constantly like put on and play a role. So just for people that are like in, I want to say corporate settings, or like trying to make the move, or they want to be in more inclusive environments, what are like some tips that you would give them, and like how can they get in spaces and be in community with other people that look like them, and
Yeah, I mean, like social media is a big thing right now. I just feel like the time I was graduating, I wish like social media just started, so. I'm aging myself. But social media just started, so there aren't as many resources as there are now.
Yeah.
So like follow the creators that you love, follow the brands that you love, follow the go on LinkedIn. Don't be afraid to like shoot.
I'm
your
now
shot.
Getting into LinkedIn, girl.
No, LinkedIn is like it's like social media within itself. It's just like a work social media. You know what I mean? Slide into like DMs, like literally a person's contact will be in their Instagram bio. Like hit that bio and like send an email, but also know exactly what you want and be sure. And because so many times people reach out and they're like, hey, I have rappers reaching out to me like, oh, can you? I'm like, I don't even work in music. I was like, so know exactly
who you're reaching out to. Yes, that's important.
Do your research, because like not every brand or like not every company that's like is hooks and gammons or the brands that you want to work with, so make sure it aligns with your morals, your goals, and keep networking. Like I always say, networking is a big thing.
That is huge, girl.
It's huge. And I know it can be intimidating too, but like, if you have to bring a friend with you, like bring a friend, that safety net, but be open to also speaking to not the highest person, like maybe like the assistant can help you more than like the CEO. You know what I mean? So
very
like,
true.
Just looking at everyone as equal, I think is like super important.
And people are people, like even if you see your favorite influencer, your favorite celebrity, they're people too.
They are.
So more time you can show up exactly who you are, and people can relate more to authenticity and organic feels and connections, and you can tell when it's not organic.
Yeah, we know.
So,
we know, for sure.
But definitely like you definitely go to a lot of events, a lot of like social settings and environments and stuff, and so do I. So just being intentional with like, we know we came there maybe to enjoy ourselves, great, but it's good to also just, again, speak with someone, leave with a contact. You never know where these people, what positions they're in or where they can take you. Not saying that we are going to go into that environment trying to take, But again, you can help that person, they can help you, and building that network is just so important.
And I always say too, like, it's okay that like you go into a space and the person that you're meeting isn't the person that is actually going to get you your next job or your next opportunity, but they might know someone.
100%.
Or that could just be a good friend. I always say that like I like genuine relationships. Like if I could shake my ass with you and also get paid with you, that's like my favorite. Because after we get this money,
we can have a good time.
We could go have a good time. That's like the perfect duo for me. I want to be able to do both.
I love that. But when you go, again, people go out and they get a little intimidated, or they feel like, I'm a little nervous and I don't know how to network, So being that you go out, you are in social settings often, like how can someone that wants to build community or want to go and like expand their network, how would you suggest them to go about doing that?
Yeah, like I said, bringing a friend is also like is always helpful, a safety net. And like I feel like now they have like a lot of like virtual events too that that you could go to. But I don't know, it's weird because it's like you kind of have to like make sure that you're right in the space to like walk into, because what's that saying, like you miss like so many shots that you don't take, and you don't have to be the most outgoing person and have like the most bubbly personality to draw someone in. Like sometimes your works just speak for itself.
For sure.
Like even if you just have to say like, hi, my name is, I work for so and so, like just me saying, meeting someone saying, hey, I work for Refining 29. I don't even have to say another word, and like they're already intrigued, where like they carry the conversation. So
for sure.
You know what I mean?
And you're just like, again, it can just, it's organic.
Yeah.
You're telling them your truth, they're telling you theirs, and you guys are building. Or
even start by saying like, oh girl, your hair looks so cute, I love that outfit. Like
that's a good conversation starter.
Yeah, you don't always have to start with like, where do you work, like what do you do, how can you help me. Maybe it's just like a casual conversation, like you watching this Diddy and Cassie before? Like this is crazy. Like, you know what I mean? Like
whole trial.
Like let's just like things that like every day like that's going on. So I would say like that's like one big thing.
I like that one. That's like a good icebreaker when you're just like, I like the fit, you look cute, something like organic, a compliment.
Exactly.
A compliment helps to break the ice for sure. So in terms of like where you are right now, like let's just say in your wellness journey and like with your community and just like what you're doing with life, what does purpose mean to you, and like how does that speak to you right now? Like how do you define purpose? Do you feel like you are in your purpose now?
I do feel like I'm in my purpose. It was like a lot of trial and errors, and I think it was a lot of people telling me what I was good at and not me knowing that like what I was good at was something that either that I could make a career out of or like monetize. It was just like my personality. Like, I'm always like the person that people come to if they need like a contact, like whether it's,
you are a good connector.
Yeah, I was like, I connect the dots, and I'm like, I don't want anything in return, because I'm like, why not, like, let's just all work together. I'm like, I have someone for this. You need this, you need hair, 100%. You need makeup, you need a photographer, you need sponsorship, you need liquor, I got you, you know what I mean? And like, I didn't know that was like a gift. I didn't know that like I could use it to actually open doors for people outside of myself. So I would say, especially people that look like me, like I'm all about just
no gatekeeping.
Yeah, no gatekeeping. Like
we can't gatekeep in 2025. No.
we don't gatekeep. So I would say, right now I am living in my purpose and just being more intentional, but like the events that I go to and like the spaces and like the where I put my energy, because I've been doing this for like 10 years like plus now, and I've been to like every open bar, like I've seen, like, you know what I mean, I'm like, it's so repetitive, and it's like you really don't have to be everywhere. You don't
how to stretch yourself thin. That's another thing.
Yourself thin, and just like I would say like one of the biggest thing I've learned was like saying no to someone was like saying yes to myself. You know what I mean?
And no is a full sentence.
And no is a full sentence. And like being okay with like saying no, because like like I said, you're saying yes to yourself, and people are like, okay, next time. Like
they'll understand.
They'll understand, because they're like, they probably been saying no too, or just wanted you to say no. I can't. You know what I mean?
Right. But we're scared sometimes. Like, okay, if I say no, then what is that going to make me look like? And I'm gonna let them down. I'm gonna disappoint them. Whole time they're like, okay,
yeah.
That's fine.
Like, we all here just trying to like get ourselves together and our mental health right. So just being a lot more intentional and like creating boundaries. Yeah, boundaries in friendships, boundaries in work, and that boundary could be like, girl, I cannot do this right now. I'm like spread way too thin. And same thing with work. Like I'm just spread way too thin. Like, oh, I need a mental health day. You know what I mean? So very intentional. Purposeful.
Yes. And I know like when you first got here, we just had a quick conversation about like just burnout and like again, just being able to like have those boundaries and know like, okay, this is something I'm going to pour my time into versus, you know, not is so important. And I'll definitely say like, I just hit the 30 mark, just hit the 30 benchmark.
so little.
Girl, I was scared. I'm like, oh my God, I don't know if my life looks like what I expected it to and all the things and like what to, I didn't know what to expect, you know? So it kind of feels like I got over like a hurdle or over a fear, you know? But 30s, girl, you get to really embrace from what I can see so far. Just embrace who you are, be organic, be authentic to who you are. You don't have to worry about the naysayers. You don't have to say yes all the time. You can literally just be okay with, you know, who you are. So I think that's important. First. Yeah. Prioritizing yourself.
Yeah, prioritizing yourself. I mean, 30s is like I told you, I was like, look better, you got more money, you have more
got more money, more coins.
Like, it's just growth. It's just up from there. And, you know, like, we're not the drivers of our lives. Like,
girl,
so it's like, we
don't get
trying
to
be in control, but God already got this planned out.
Exactly.
Like, in times where I'm like, I want this. And he's like, you're not ready.
And
I would get so frustrated. I'm like, I am ready. I need this now.
Girl, I'll be ready like yesterday. And he'd be like, nope, not yet.
And then when you do get it, then you're like, oh.
Exactly. It's like,
I really wasn't. Because if you would have gave me that before, I would have messed it all up.
But I feel like for me, my 20s was all about me working on my time. And like, okay, I hit the benchmark of going to college. I hit the benchmark of going to cosmetology school, getting a job, all the things, you know? So I'm like, okay, life is supposed to work in that order of like, I work towards something, you know, I'm accomplishing like merits and I'm very goal oriented, you know, but like, no, like it has humbled me 100-fold to know like it's not in my timing.
No.
And now I'm just surrendered. Like I'm completely, this is my hands.
You got it. Whatever you want, I'm going to do.
You got it. Yeah. So it's definitely a lot of just like trusting in God's timing and having faith and having patience and all that good stuff. It's not easy. It's not. I'll be wanting to cry like, oh my God.
I know.
Yes,
it's
and
hard.
It is. And sometimes like just keeping the faith. Like I'm not even going to just lie and be like all the time. I'm like, I believe. It's because sometimes I'm just like, okay, God, I feel really disappointed, you know, with what just happened. And I feel like, why didn't it happen for me in this timing? You know, it happened for other people. You start to, I start to compare and question and all that good stuff. But when I turn on the worship music or when I get into the word, I can do it more. But even like having the Bible app and letting the audio play and stuff like that, and just really just getting near and closer to God, I'm like, okay, I'm where I'm supposed to be. Yeah. And I did this workshop, right? This was back in March, I believe. And I hosted the workshop, and it was about affirmations, right? And I'm just like, okay, I'm the wellness girl, so of course I can talk to like affirmations, which is just like, just a verbal claim of the things that we want in life, and it does happen. You know, God hears that. Our lips to God's ears. He hears that, and when we say it repetitively, we start to believe it as well, and we start to put the work and the action into that, and it happens. But I realized, like, I don't think I've ever written down like the whole writing it down, putting it by your glass mirror.
Neither have
I never did that.
I'm not like I take mental notes.
Yes, or like I journal.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I've never like wrote it down. So this year, after that workshop, I said, you know what? I actually got like a little, what is it? Like a stack of Post-its, clear ones, clear Post-its. And I got them from like an event that one of my friends hosted. And I just decided to just write it down. And one of the things that I put down is like, you are where you're supposed to be. Because that is something that I'm constantly questioning over and over.
You are.
Yes. So it's hard, but we got this. We
You
got
do,
this.
yeah. Manifestation is like is a form of prayer. So
It
it
is.
literally is going to happen because you're taking the steps in order for it to happen. So there's no way that it can't. So
Exactly.
it's doing amazing.
Thank you, girl. So I'm gonna dive in. So Sandy is gonna be an amazing part of our upcoming summit. And girl, I'm in the thick of this planning right now. You know, it's so much
I
moving
know,
parts.
yes.
So running like a chicken right now, my head off. Like it's a lot of things to do. Like I'm over here. I'm surprised that I'm here sane. But by
And
God's
looking
grace,
good, and
I'm here.
looking
Thank
good.
you. I'm thankful to just be here and just like, be sitting down and being present and just having organic conversation with you because just my day to day right now is just like very busy.
I'm
Yeah.
sure.
So, but yes, I'm excited to have you join us. And this year we're going to have our first summit. So the Run the World experience has been around for now. This is going to be the fourth time we're having it. So it's our signature. Thank you.
Yes.
So this is going to be our biggest one so far. Every year we just aim to get bigger and better and more elevated.
I saw the lineup.
Yes.
It's tea. I hope y'all got y'all tickets.
Exactly. They definitely got to come out. And them tickets is going. So if you guys miss it, you're going to have to come back next year, circle back. So yeah, the theme this year is the essence of purpose in relationships, right? Which is very fitting to our conversation right now as well. But every year I do pick a new theme, and the theme, some way, it resonates with what's going on in my own personal life. So purpose is something that's sticking out to me, as well as like relationships, romantic relationships, my sisterhood, my community. You know, we just launched the membership program as well, which for me is just being able to have a shelf life that expands just the events that we have and the events that we host, but being able to have our community just like be able to access readily available resources for their mental health, such as mentorship or discounted fitness classes and stuff like that that they can shop and go to. So important. But in terms of our panel that we have that you're going to be moderating, which is the Purpose Project, relationships into platforms. So I'm just going to give them a little bit of what to expect, nothing too crazy. But in terms of the idea behind this particular panel would be basically a purpose project. So we're going to be speaking to great women such as yourself that was able to like have like a passion and turn it into something that's a beautiful purpose project, and doing so by way of like relationships and forming platforms and stuff like that. So I want to say like, in terms of that, like how does that speak to you? You know, how has your relationships then turned into like bigger moments that now impact other people? I know you already mentioned at Hearst, but like, is there any more moments that you can say like the relationships that you're forming, or the relationships that you formed, is impacting and making impact in your community?
Yeah, of course. I mean, just like working in the space that I am now, and just even brands, like working with those people that work within those brands have become people that I'm cool with now. So like when opportunities do happen, they come straight to me.
Love that.
Yeah, and then that way I can plug someone else in that I know. So, and just being genuine and authentic, and like all the work that I've been doing has been able to grow my relationship. So people know that, oh yeah, Sandy's not fake. Like she's a girl's girl. Like we want to come to her because she knows all the girlies, and like she's gonna make sure that like we find the right person. She's not gonna like scam us, do anything like crazy. Listen, they be out here. So I think just like really just being genuine and like it's one of those like you scratch my back, I scratch your back like type of moments. And if I can't do it now, like I'm always gonna think of you. You know what I mean? It's like sisterhood, and you can have sisterhood outside of like the people that you grew up with, and it's really important because I always say, like the people that you grow up with, that's like your safe space. That's the people that keeps you grounded, that can humble you. But then like in certain instances, like I can't talk to them all the time about like work and like things that I go through because they don't really understand.
They can't.
Having that community within my creative space has also been super important. I started a women's like social group called My Plus One with
we gotta talk about that.
With two people that I met within the industry, and like they've become like close friends, and we've been able to like build something and meet other dope women, and just like a space that was like needed. So
what is My Plus One really like? What would you say it means? I like that.
Yeah, I would say it's well, it is a woman's like social group where you know what we say is that these networking events are, like I said before, very intimidating. So sometimes you want to bring your
that
plus
ties
one.
into what you just said about going out.
Yes, your safety net, and it's not always someone, you know, because your plus one could be your day one that like is a lawyer and you're a singer. You know what I mean? And like we don't want to pigeonhole people into thinking that you can't be here because you don't work in this space. No, bring your plus one, introduce her to another plus one, so you can lead with another plus one. Like this is an open floor for us to just be sisters and just be, you know, people that want like-minded people that want to just like lean on each other. Yeah, so that's basically why we started it. Like we literally are now each other's plus ones from sitting next to each other at like one event.
Wow.
Yes. So
I think that's a great segue into just like something that's sort of like a seed, and then it blossoms into something great. Then, you know, you're impacting other people by way of the events that you guys are throwing and all of that. And you gotta run it back.
Yeah, I know. It's so much going on. Everyone's telling us like, when's the next event? I'm like, child, I'm driving. It's so much going on.
I know. You're busy.
Yes.
You are a busy girly. Yes. So Sandy, tell the people where they can keep up to date with you and how can they find you and connect with you.
I'm on Instagram, LinkedIn. So my Instagram is Sandzp, SANDZP. I feel like I can only do right now like Instagram and TikTok. But TikTok, I sometimes don't want a lot of people to know that because I'm really silly on TikTok.
That's your personal outlet.
Myself. But if you wanna, you know, feel free to follow me on there, or LinkedIn, just Sandy Pierre. And you know, sometimes you'll see me on Refinery 29 Unbothered on the socials, like doing some social things, because they have, you know, us out here doing everything.
But that's good. You're Jill of all trades,
yes,
for sure.
Jill of all trades, yeah.
But yes, thank you, girlie, for joining. Amazing conversation, of course. And just like that, we'll see you in another Salon Talk series. Bye.